Why is Lights Camera Faction here?
I am not sure what is going. Oh, and look at that, Ice Williams.
The tax would eat! Frostbite! Frostbite into the tax!
2, 3, and there it is.
I have no idea what brought Lights Camera Faction out here.
Folks, welcome to another special edition of Faction Live. We're here. We have a very special guest with us today.
Come on.
The fifth Six Rangers in the building.
Yeah, come on.
We're going to get into the show. Folks, welcome to Faction Live.
I know they probably thinking I'm worried. I'm not. Cause I've been known to handle up. Do not forget what I done. I'm boss. No win this game, you take a loss. It costs. Low at night and when I'm driving, I think about all of my guys and how we be shining. Aspirations of these diamonds, no lights be blinding. Think they forgot who the fuck I am, let me remind them. I put niggas in position that wouldn't listen.
Oh no! Oh no! Off rip. This is what happened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome. We're going to have a fast start here today.
Yeah.
What's up, folks? Welcome to Faction Live. The greatest podcast you've ever seen. Should it be the greatest podcast you've ever heard? I'm not necessarily sure.
They can see you.
This is multimedia.
It can work. It works. You've ever consumed, maybe.
Yeah, something like that. All of that.
Okay.
We are your hosts.
Everybody? Okay.
I am the coldest wrestler on the planet. The coldest wrestler on the planet.
Bobby Legend.
but he had a good night because he had to redo himself.
Was for a split second.
Blizzard Boy,
Blizzard.
the Frostiest,
Avalanche.
Mr. Avalanche, Ice. You like that's the Fresco impersonation of Ice.
That sounds like you.
Ice Williams.
And I am, of course,
The street sweeper.
the
The
fly,
fly.
the baddest man alive. Your city kingpin. I am Fresco Matic. Yeah.
And I can introduce you, or do you want to introduce yourself?
I mean, I got like unless you, I got to come back with all my nicknames. Then. In case you don't know, or in case you just slow, this is the natural. Mr. Tough Enough himself, the pretty boy Pitbull, international playboy El Consigliere.
Oh, look at that.
Kenny K.I.N.G. King. Heavy with you.
Yeah, man, no. I'm inspired by all the things you acquired throughout the year.
You know what I'm saying? You know, cool with the Latinos too. You know what I'm saying? You know, that's how it goes. Yeah. Shout out to mi gente.
Jimenez out there.
It's mi gente.
Jimente. Yeah, I know. Well, you said Jimente, I say Jimente.
That might mean something. We gotta live in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? I live in Mexico. You need Mexico training.
I've not been. I've not dabbled.
It's cool, man. No, we need you to dabble in that. You know what I'm saying? You need that extra experience under your belt.
Go out and
I want that for all the faction and shit. I want that for all the faction. I want everybody to get to Mexico, man, because Mexico is an amazing pro wrestling experience. You know, they say there's different places, different regions where pro wrestling thrives in its own little way. Mexico, Canada, Japan, and England. And Mexico is a whole different vibe that I want y'all to experience.
the pace looks crazy out there. Even when they bring their style onto the scene out here when we're performing and stuff. Especially the tag matches. Let's just go off the tag matches off rip. No tags don't matter.
Yeah.
Dive off springboard.
They go.
It's
the Panasonic.
It's also kind of because when they come here, people want to see that lucha style, so they come and come to just to kind of showcase that style, man. But if you go to Mexico, you working 5 days a week. So if you working 4 or 5 days a week, depending on if you where your spot is on the card. Some of the high boys, they 3.5, sometimes 4 days a week.
Wow.
But if you're a green boy, you working 5-6 days a week trying to keep your spot. You can't go crazy every single night. So you have, it's a lot about pacing. It's a lot about showmanship. Yeah, man, that's for y'all.
That's a good tip here right there, folks. The upper echelon levels in Mexico, as Kenny says, there's even levels to that. 5 days. That's like the old days for wrestlers in America working the territories. That's still very much like that out there in a lot of ways. That's cool.
CML tours, we go Tuesdays Puebla, Wednesdays Guadalajara. Some guys work Thursdays. There's like outside Mexico City shows, but Friday is Arena Mexico, Saturday is Arena Coliseo, and Sunday is Arena Mexico again. So, and that's if you're there for 2 weeks, baby, you're there day after day after day.
Sheesh.
Wow.
Damn. Folks, for those of you who are unfamiliar, even though the man introduced himself, we have a very special guest. Former 3-time ROH Tag Champ.
Yep.
Former 2-time ROH Television Champ.
Yep.
2-time TNA X Division Champion.
Yep.
Impact Wrestling Digital Media Champion.
DMC.
The first ever FSW Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
The man has had television appearances on The Bachelor.
Mm.
And like he said, WWE's Tough Enough.
It's been on sitcoms too. Don't forget that.
And a few sitcoms.
You know,
if there's anything I'm missing out, please.
Child star as
Cool
well.
Dr.
Don't
Money,
forget that.
you know. Cool Dr. Money, if you know, you know.
Yeah.
The man, the myth, a real legend in the sport and the business and profession that we are a part of, pro wrestling, sports entertainment. Kenny King. He's here. Kenny, K-I-N-G, King.
You know what's funny? Ice didn't tell me you was gonna be here.
Yeah.
He did it again, folks. He did the ice pop again. I'm thinking, okay, of course, Watson is, get well soon while Watson not feeling well, you know what I'm saying?
Shout out to
And
Watson.
the president of Action World's off to action duties as well, so we'll see Action World soon. But I'm walking in like, all right, yeah, okay. But, cool.
We about
See
a two-man
Ice,
this.
a two-man do. All of a sudden, I'm like, oh, snap. Right before we get on set, here comes the 5th, 6th Ranger. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right, got to, shoot. Yeah, all right. Damn, all right, here we go, But it's good to see you, man. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good. I'm glad to be here with y'all. I've seen what y'all have been doing, and it's good work. So I'm glad that you asked me to come, and I'm glad to be included.
Yeah, and the newest, most recent edition of arguably the greatest faction to ever do it.
That's right. Of course, Kenny's got a lot of experience being part of groups throughout history in the game. So if anyone knows how to play the game when it comes to factions, this guy right here. Of course, if you don't know, he's our trainer. He's one of the head trainers here in Las Vegas, cultivated the scene. Really one of the Mount Rushmores here in the Vegas scene. It's good to have it, but we have a segment we do on here. We have a segment called Wrestling of the Week.
That's how we start off the show.
That's how we start off the show. And for you and for us, we picked something that stuck out to us for what was our favorite wrestling thing of the week, whether it was a match, a moment, a segment, something online, whatever case may be. So I guess since I brought it up, I guess I'll go first. For me, I guess my wrestling of the week. By the way, folks, thank you for watching right now. Go ahead and leave those comments in there.
Yep.
We will get to all the comments. Ask Kenny some questions. This is a special appearance, Kenny appearance. So questions, load them up if you got some. Don't be scared. But I think for my wrestling of the week, so much happened. So much happened this past week to really look into. But
Should be going live. I should be going live right now. That's what I should be doing.
I think for me right now, it's gotta be this past Saturday. This past Saturday, a lot was going on in the city, right? If you're from the Vegas area, whole world's watching us. But we had some business to take care of, and the boys, had to pull up to a little Dollar Loan Center on Saturday. What was that? Oh, okay. Dollar Loan Center on Saturday, and your boys was present backstage, to help out at the AEW.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, and of course, we were back there in case they need anything, just regulating. And yeah, my wrestling on the week, man. I had a chance to be back there and had a good time showing out with the boys once again and leaving a good impression. I think we said earlier this year that we really wanted to be in situations where we were in the right places and the right times. So I really think that was something that was a job well done, boys. A job well done.
Yeah, shout out to the team as a collect. It's not working.
Well, we just gotta. I gotta get it. I want to get us. I should have probably did that.
You can hand it to our production guy over
Oh,
there.
oh.
He's already live.
Yeah.
If someone has a hand, they could give our production guy because he already got 2 hands full with both.
Yeah.
But we about to go live, so it's
Go
not
ahead.
to break the. All right, hold on. Well, let me.
Please.
Let me go.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Shout out,
This is what we
shout
do.
out, shout out to the Moonchild. Shout out to the Moonchild.
They know how this production stuff works.
Yeah, the gang know what's up, man. They know what's up. Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Hand it. Oh, he got it, or you got it. Somebody got it. One of y'all got it. Don't
There it is, there it is, there it is, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah,
but
sure.
yeah, no, it was good, man. It was good seeing some familiar faces back there, people that we've worked with in the past, and people that we've got acquainted with, and it was just good things overall, man. Sure, as for me, there was a lot of things going on this week. It was too much to pick between AEW, what happened on Thursday. I know you'll talk about that, and all the other stuff. But Ice, what was your wrestling of the week?
My wrestling of the week definitely will have to be the press conference that happened. The WWE press conference that happened out here in Las Vegas.
Rock slapped the mess out that boy.
Wow.
Slapped the taste out that boy.
To
man.
Cody and to his proverbial to the proverbial Cody crybabies.
That was
You know,
yeah.
The Rock over there, shoulder to shoulder with arguably one of the most destructive bosses, the main boss in professional wrestling today, Roman Reigns. They're shoulder to shoulder, basically as an alliance now. At this point, that's what it seemed like.
Family, man. Family over everything.
And
Blood
they
over
say
everything. So,
family first, and that's how they're moving. That's how they operate. And Dom Toretto Rock is here.
Not
So-
Dom Toretto Rock.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
going
that's
down.
family.
The press conference was crazy. The environment was electric.
Did you go?
Maybe I'm not sure. Honestly,
Okay.
I'm not
Alright.
sure if I went.
Oh,
I heard.
you're not sure if you went?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. I thought I saw on the faction board we had someone had a mission for that. Did Watson take it?
I don't know. I was maybe doing some espionage.
Okay.
I feel like we're going to find out soon.
Oh, okay.
Crawl
Yeah.
through the
Yeah,
vents to
something
get
going
into the building. I had a little, I had to do some scoping on, targets locked on the enemy. I gotta keep my eyes on who I gotta keep my eyes on.
So I'm about to send us a cease and desist.
I know, man. You
Wow.
should. Sky High's like, hey,
yeah.
wait, we on TV,
Oh
man.
yeah, sheesh, that could be. That's another shout out to Sky High.
Yeah.
Face the Young Bucks on Rampage,
Young Bucks.
and that was my wrestling for the week. The Rock, Cody,
Oh.
Roman. and
No,
Seth.
that was that whole setup, the way they had it. Just a press conference. You walk in, free
to
to
the
walk
public,
in.
a week
And,
notice.
and wrestlers in there just just working, but like you can tell they're like playing with it a little bit, giving a whole lot of I'm having it felt more authentic than what I normally see in those situations.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got a bunch of pros up there,
Yeah.
a bunch of guys able to kind of feed off the moment and improvise, and they don't really, they know each other, right? And that's what you have to know yourself.
Yeah.
If you know who you are as a professional wrestler, then you can completely excel in those environments.
This guy's
yeah,
good.
for sure.
A man that's been in almost every locker room on the scene, and if not in every locker room, definitely around all of the best people to step foot in a professional wrestling ring. This guy right here, Kenny King, because he's been through it all.
All right, let me go.
He's seen them all.
Let me go.
What's
let
your
me go.
wrestling of the week?
My
Kenny?
wrestling, Kenny King's wrestling moment of the week is watching my faction boys walk in to an AEW, the backstage, and shine, man, and get chosen and work hard and stand out and get chosen to once again represent Lights Camera Faction on Ring of Honor, man. And I as a coach and as a mentor, as a big bro, man, I really I'm just proud of y'all, man, and I really I look forward to. I was really happy to see that y'all get that opportunity, but to see how even Sean Dean was talking highly of you guys and putting you guys over, because that's what we do, man. This thing is about excellence, and and you guys got in there, you got on, you represented, you showed out, and so that's just going to lead to more opportunities and more opportunities. So Faction up.
Action up on everything.
Action up on everything. You know what? That takes a celebration, man. You know, a little celebration.
Oh,
So
no.
I didn't know you was pulling up. I would have got something bigger. But
Oh, see, I knew he was out keeping it tradition.
see, you know, this is why I'm Kenny's favorite.
Keeping
You
it
know what I'm
with
saying?
Tradition, yeah.
You know, I'm Kenny's favorite, by the way. Y'all know that. So, you know, Kenny, man, I'm gonna let you get the first swerve. I'm gonna let you go ahead and get that. You know what I'm saying?
So,
Yeah. The
me and
crown
me
for
and
the
my girl- Me
king.
and my girl on this diet, we're not supposed to be drinking till Valentine's Day. So if you're watching this, baby, I'm sorry. If
Sorry.
you're not watching this, y'all better not snitch on me.
Hey.
All you dirty Mackers out there, trying to get 'em in trouble.
Don't
Dirty
do it.
Mackers.
Because there are some dirty Macs out there, boy.
Oh, there's some dirty mags, man.
Boy,
Hey.
dirty Macs, and ain't nothing changed, man. Ain't
Yeah.
nothing changed but the day. The game is the same.
No. For sure. Oh, Ice, you ain't take one.
Oh.
Yeah, no. He been trying to avoid this for
Hey,
weeks.
let's get some crown over ice.
Yeah,
Let's go,
crown,
let's go.
crown over
Let's
ice.
go.
Crown over ice.
I'm with it.
See, that sound just like you,
Gotta
bro.
do this every week.
Every week, bro. He swear how he want to do a show and not have me on the show and not have this. Come on now, he know better.
We did this on the Fresco show.
Yeah, exactly. You know that comes a prerequisite.
So you pulled it out. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I was just shoot. We was talking. You know, it was cool.
Yeah.
But
Where we at over there? We got any views?
yeah, you know, we got people commenting.
Shout out
with,
to y'all.
wait, hold on, where's Denzel?
Yeah, come on out here, Denzel. Calling my government, right? He's like, my government?
I don't know.
I mean, what's up? I mean, I'm here. I am. You crazy. I am here. We got the drinks going.
There he is. There
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, exclusive only on that live. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, man.
Action podcast.
What's
I'm down.
going on?
I like it.
You know,
I like it.
the few comments we have, I gotta chase it with a donut.
Oh my gosh.
Is this sponsored by Krispy Kreme?
No,
No.
Yeah.
Not
Krispy
yet.
Kreme, come on, man. Let's talk about this.
You know,
right?
he love-
we could get 12 donuts. I'm not gonna eat them because I'm not supposed to be drinking or eating sugar. I ain't gonna go. But come on, Krispy Kreme. Let's talk
Come
about
on.
faction podcast. We can put a nice little F right there in the box. We'll go
Faction
crazy.
edition,
We'll go
Krispy
crazy.
Kreme
Faction
donuts. You can do it during
somebody at Krispy Kreme on my live, right? See if they
Krispy
hit it.
Kreme.
All right,
Come
Back
on.
Krispy Kreme.
Cause we
Tap
got-
into the YouTube, folks. Lights, camera,
Oh,
fashion,
yes,
YouTube.
yes.
We live.
Please tell everybody.
Tap
what we can
in.
see.
Tap in.
It's up right now.
Tap
Lights, camera,
in.
fashion on YouTube. We live. It's going down, folks. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel. It's up. We have a couple of comments, and
All right.
let's see who's talking to us in the comment
I
section.
say that. Yeah, Foul, he put the first comment. He said right out the gate, he saw
Oh yeah.
slip and fall.
Yeah. I might have to post that tomorrow on my story, you know what I'm saying? With
That's gotta at
some
least go in a group chat.
with some groovy clips, behind it.
Right.
Rewind.
Yeah, Brad, he had a question. He said, Kenny, any good toughen up stories?
Okay.
Oh,
We'll
man.
get to that. We'll get to that in a second. What's the last
Okay, yeah, let
comment
me
we
think
got?
about that.
Yeah, Watson, he's there.
Okay.
He says, Watson's Wrestling of the Week, the return of the King to ROH.
Yeah.
Return of the King.
Return of the King. Return of the King.
Crazy.
It's interesting how things how things play out. 'cause
Yeah. No. Without revealing too much, man. Seeing how all that played out, and seeing how, just seeing the kind of respect and kind of respect that people have for you, and to see that, and you walking in pretty much like, hey, I'm just here to show face and just see some friends type deal, kind of supporting us in a lot of way. And when I say by the end of the night, Braxton tells me, oh, Kenny's getting geared up. I'm like, oh, what? Just Kenny's getting geared up. I'm like, let's go. So, and yeah, it was just so cool to see because I think for watching you for most of like my career is a lot of your matches was from Ring of Honor. So to see you back there and to see the crowd really, like still fucking with you after all, with that in the Ring of Honor ring, man. I thought that was a real cool part to see.
We were wrestling, man. Y'all showed big love. I appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure, man, for sure. So well, when that comes out, that's gonna shake some heads a little bit, for sure, no doubt about it.
It airs next week. Might be airing next week.
We'll
this
see.
week, Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
We'll see. Keep in line with that. Keep in line with that. But
we know y'all know.
Yeah, you know.
If you don't know, you will. No, all right, you will find out. Kenny, you're our guest, and we'd love to hear your story. We'd love
Tough
to pick
enough
your
story.
brain, and the people.
Wait, questions? I mean, you just want me to ramble?
Oh
on
wait,
like an
the
old
question.
timer?
First question. Then did you come up with any?
Yeah. So I'll tell this story. This is actually. I mean, if you saw the show, you probably saw it, but this is how it went down. So we used to have to do this. We used to have to train every day, and go from like 8 a.m. to probably like 4 in the ring, bumping, learning, rolling around every day. But then afterward, we'd have to go an hour away to Santa Monica to do this military style boot camp training, Optimum Fitness. So all of the shit's on the sand. Can we finish? Can I say shit?
Yeah, no, yeah.
All of the shit's on the
I
sand,
just cursed.
right? So, did we die? Oh, so-
No, we're good.
Okay.
Pass it around. Pass it around.
That's good. So all this on the sand. So it's like you done took bumps all day long, and then you have to. And homie was a straight up like with the brown boots, like military
Yeah.
boot instructor. So by the time you hit the sand, you didn't stop moving. There were no you had a little bit of breaks. Go get some water and then run your ass to the wall. Go get some water and then run all the way back. So it was running with heavy things in the sand and up down low crawls and A-frames and all of this crazy cardio stuff. So needless to say, man, like we hated that shit. Like nobody, we beat up and banged up because think about learning how to wrestle and how many times you do something wrong and then you pay for it with a wrist or a knee or something, and then having to, regardless of how you feel, because this is a competition on TV, get your ass to Optimum Fitness every day, and this dude would just torture you for an hour. So Big, the guy who was in charge of Tough Enough, he was a big gambling dude, right? So he always do side bets with us, like, hey man, if you do this, you can do this, or I'll give you some. So just whatever, right?
Give you a honey bun.
So yeah, or I'll get you some extra protein, or you get some extra gym time, or
Damn.
stuff like that. So we were out at this place in LA on Sunset Strip called Saddle Ranch. I don't even know if it's still there. That's a long time ago. At Saddle Ranch, it's the first time I ever saw one of those mechanical bulls. Right?
Yeah.
And so people were like, "Who's gonna ride the bull? Who's gonna ride the bull?" But I'm like, I don't know nothing about that. I'm cool. But Big is like, listen, if Kenny and Hawk can stay on the bull, you guys get a week off of Optimum Fitness.
Damn. Pressure's
But-
on.
But if either one of them falls off, y'all got to come to tracks and train in jock straps for the whole day.
Pressure's on.
Are these some freaky people? Going
It's a
off?
freaky.
I didn't hear nothing past y'all get a week off Optimum Fitness. Once he said that, I was like, yo, whatever else is on the line, I don't care. So I think I was first. And I get on, and I've never been on one of these things before, but I remember this lady, she was actually kind of sexy too. She's actually running the thing, and she says, the tip is, one tip is get up here and move your hips like you're trying to make all the girls jealous, and that's how you'll stay on. And I'm like, I don't understand what that means, but I understand what that means.
Yeah. No. Now you're talking my
You
language.
know what I'm saying? I know what that means. I know what that means. So, Bull start doing his thing. I start doing my thing.
Whoa.
It goes a little crazy.
Yeah.
But I just boom. I don't know what it was, 60 seconds, whatever. I stay on. So now let's go. Hawk is a big old country dude, and I know he been on horses. I'm like, bro, this it's a wrap. Like,
This your
we
territory.
got a week off. We good. Man, Hawk gets on this thing. Bam, 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 bam. Off the fucking shit.
Fuck. Ah, damn.
Oh my God, we're looking across the bar at Big, and he just got a drink in his hands, like, yup, got you. So, this is where it split off to where it was like, all right, so the girls can't wear just jock straps, so it was like, oh, okay, the girls get to wear swimsuits, and the guys have to wear jock straps. It's like, well, wait a minute, why my ass got to be out in the streets and the girls get to wear bikinis? And no bullshit. We all had to go. We all went out and bought jock straps. And so what we would do is we would stretch, and then we would run. We'd run a mile, like outside in like the little production complex. But it was an office buildings everywhere. So that day, bro, we was out there, jock strap, butt cheeks flapping, and women.
Oh my gosh.
Running by office buildings, and people like sticking their head out the window, and came back in. Doing and this is basic wrestling, so I'm talking about like headlock takeovers into leg scissors with dudes in the job, like, and I'm like, bro, this is sweaty ass right there, and the girls just was in bikinis and shit, so that was, they made us train all day like that.
Crazy. How much of the training was actual training to potentially get you a spot on the show or a position in the company, as opposed to just it being for TV? Like, how much of that was just for TV?
It's not, none of it's just for TV, right?
Okay.
Like, it's all trained. Like, you are trained to the very good bare bones foundation.
Yeah.
I couldn't work a match per se. I kind of was walked through one with Chavo at the end, but I couldn't work a match because I didn't. There was a lot of holes in my training, because it was only 12 weeks. So to be able to take just 13 athletes and try to get them to okay, let's start step one. Step one is taking bumps, right?
Yeah.
Who can land without injuring themselves,
Yes.
and then not only that, you're doing that, but you're still having to also evaluate and make cuts every week, because this is still a competition, and you got to whittle it down. So there's not a lot of space for anything, because you have to kind of like break it down to the basic curriculum to get 4 people who can be led through a match at the end of this.
Yeah.
Because no matter how good an athlete you are, some people just ain't gonna get this.
Oh yeah, 100%.
So that is something that they have to do, and they have to kind of like, the number one thing is safety, right? So this is a TV show. They don't want nobody breaking their neck, so they have to bump you damn near to death, because it has to become unconscious, competent, repetitious, and then you can move on to lockups and headlocks, but then you still have to do those all day long, because this chick can't get it, so we can't move on until she
Can't move
can
on
take
till
a
she get
shoulder
it.
tackle, right? And then we've got girls that are 105 pounds that will take a hip toss and land awkward, and now they're dead for 15, 20 minutes, and so it's not like you could. I mean, I probably could if it was like just me and a couple other people who got it really quick, and they were like, okay, we'll fast track you. Maybe I could have learned how to work a match by the end of that, but they're trying to get you to where you can actually do this.
Yeah.
Now the problem is that you can't do this shit on TV after 12 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You can't. You there's just no way. You will literally embarrass yourself, and unfortunately, that's what happened. Maven was a kind of a freak accident, but Maven went to OVW, or I think HWA. He might have went to both actually, for 6 months before he showed up in the Royal Rumble, and and then they protected him. You know? So everybody else, my winners, Jackie Gator, poor girl, and Linda Miles, they just weren't ready.
Yeah.
And so they're looking to find pro wrestlers, sort of. I guess not my season, not really.
So was that your introduction to wrestling and this business?
Yeah,
was that experience? So how did that even come across? Like, were you just trying to just audition for gigs or book gigs, TV gigs, and you came across that?
So I was played football at University of South Florida at this point.
Okay.
And I remember watching the first Tough Enough on TV. Like me and my homeboys. I mean, I've been a wrestling fan my whole life, right? So like my friend group in college, like some of the football players, like some of the dudes didn't like wrestling, and you know we're in college to play football. So most of the guys are watching Monday Night Football, but I'm watching Monday Night Raw, and I'm flipping back and forth between Raw and Nitro because that was just me.
That's in the era.
So me and my homeboys and some of my teammates would go and we watch Raw or Nitro, whichever was better that night. But then Tough Enough came on, right? And I can just remember watching the intro of it where the people can't jump rope and the people can't jump over bags and you know, it's like, man,
Easy.
you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I could do this. Like these people are embarrassing themselves, man. I could do this.
Yeah. And you're about like 20 at the time, 21.
I'm 20. I'm 20. Maybe even 19, going to be 20, right? And so, very, very long story short, I ended up transferring from USF to UNLV to play football. But due to politics and nonsense, like my transcripts got held, so I had to forfeit that year of eligibility. So I didn't come in to play football right away, but I was coming back into play. But so I had to basically sit out that fall. So while I'm on campus at UNLV, I remember I'm walking on campus and I open up the school newspaper, and there's a page, literally a page-long ad that says, "Are you tough enough?" WWF. Apply here.
The good old flyer.
And I mean, it's like it's a page, right? It's a page it's a one-page advertisement. Open it and it's staring me in my face, and it's like, all right, well, you was talking all that shit earlier.
Yeah,
right?
and here it is.
You was talking all that shit earlier, bro.
Yep.
So it's this, right? And I'm like, all right, well, why not, right? And I can remember because I'm a recovered procrastinator, but I procrastinated, and it was me and one of my homeboys, and I didn't have the tape because this is back in the day where you had the camcorder, right? You had to record the shit on the camcorder with the little tapes. So first I didn't have to record.
Send it in?
Yeah, and send it in.
Wow. Imagine that.
Yeah, baby. Welcome to pre-digital. You had to send in your tape, right? For real. Yeah. So I didn't have. Remember one time, like my boy with the camera, we didn't have the cord for the camcorder. Then one time we didn't have the tape, so all of that takes weeks. Yeah. So the last day, I remember, like we went to his apartment. I cut this promo, and I just remember it was terrible.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm about to send this bullshit in. Like well, whatever, right?
Yeah.
I sent something in, but I'm actually walking to the same class that I was walking to when I opened the thing. Walking to that same class, and I get a phone call. Hey, this is Kenny. Yup. Hey, we're going to be in Las Vegas to do the Tough Enough auditions. Like, are you still interested in doing it? I'm like, yeah, man, let's do it. So, you know, that's kind of how that whole thing happened. Like, I just sent in a tape on a whim. Said something about, like, I just gotten this tattoo, so my cross tattoo, so it was some lame shit like, beware the mark of the cross or something. Oh, terrible.
Mark of the cross.
I can't believe that's how I got here, right? Something.
You must have just had the
Shout
juice
out
or
to
something
the MTV
on the
producers,
promo.
Whatever y'all saw, and then skinny 19-year-old Kenny King.
That's crazy.
But yeah, man, that's kind of how that went. Me and Johnny TV or Johnny Elite or Johnny whatever
Johnny
promotion he is, Johnny everything, right?
That's not Gargano. Johnny everything that's not Gargano.
We were talking about that on Saturday, right? Because he was he auditioned for my Tough Enough. That's actually where I met him, but I knew him before. So like he used to. I used to have a radio show in college my sophomore year.
I know.
WBUL. God, it was I can't even remember what the name of the show was, but yeah, me and my homeboy Eric and my boy Ed, we had a radio show from 8 to 9, and it was in the dorms, and we actually, you know, girls would call in and we'd freestyle Fridays and
Fridays.
Kitty King,
They had the dip set on, you know.
Tuesdays and Fridays, and we do Fridays from 6 to 7. We do freestyle Fridays, but anyway, so Tuesdays go 8 to 9, and then afterward, or maybe it was 7. It was actually 7 to 9, 2-hour spot. 7 to 9, and then afterward there was this club downtown Tampa called the Key Club, and I was like old school, like like hip hop and like break beats, and dudes would go out there breaking, and I used to do a little breaking 20 or 30 pounds ago.
used to do everything.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man.
Do a little breaking.
Little
and,
coffee grinder,
there
you know what I'm
was
saying?
A skinny Caucasian kid, man, who had all the sick moves, man, who could windmill and flare and do all kinds. I'm like, damn, who is this kid?
Yeah.
Come to find out. So I saw him. So a year later, I see him at the Tough Enough tryout.
Johnny TV.
Shout out to Johnny TV.
Damn.
Breakdance.
Johnny Breakdance. Like, what are you doing here? He's like, what you doing here? I said, I live in Vegas. He said, well, everybody said you moved. And that was the first time I saw him, and
Damn.
that was it. So, yeah, it was crazy.
Nice. That's hilarious. So, great story. Great start to the pro wrestling journey. So after Tough Enough ends, what are your thoughts? Are you thinking, I'm done with this wrestling stuff? I want to continue wrestling. How do I keep going? Where do I go if I actually want to continue this? Like, what was happening outside of, like, right after Tough Enough?
So, I filmed Tough Enough, right? We start shooting November 2000.
This 0102.
Dating myself.
This 0102,
let me get one of these. November 01. We start shooting Tough Enough, right? Come back we get a Christmas break. Go back, finish shooting January 2002. So February 2002, Tough Enough airs. So it starts airing February through April. Halfway through March, I get a phone call from the football coach, right? Who was like, "Okay, TV star, it's time to come back and start playing football like that."
Hey,
that's what you came
John
here for.
Robinson calling you, right?
It was he was coach, but it was a guy named Mark Bradson who was the defensive coordinator. That's a whole different story. Like, he called me. I don't even talk about that. But so he called, was like, "What's up, man? Like, it's time to come back and play football." But at this point, I have taped all of the episodes, and I know who the Final Four is, and now you have to wait till the episodes air, and then they would bring the Final Four back for like 5 weeks and train some more, and then they did the live picking at WWF New York in the summertime, right? So this is 6 months of my life that I pretty much committed, and at this point I'm like, I won.
Yeah, I
won.
I made it this far.
I'm like, bro, I know I'm not beating them. I'm beating him for sure, and I'm beating both because I'm thinking. So all right, so the deal is, right? If you go back and watch the first Tough Enough, the verbiage around it is we're giving out 2 contracts, 1 male, 1 female, right? We're giving out 1 male, 1 female, 1 male, 1 female. They hammer that into your head. So us going into Tough Enough 2, we're in that mode. We're giving away 2
contracts.
It's 8 men here, 5 girls here. So one of us and one of y'all, and they're going to continue on. But if you go back and watch Tough Enough, Blood Clot 2, they never say the words. They always say we're giving out 2 contracts. We're giving out 2 contracts. 2 of you are going to be contracts. The verbiage is very specific.
Yeah.
And because you're caught up in what you saw and you're not really understanding, you're just here to see, you just see 1 male, 1 female, right? And I remember when we went back, it was me, Jackie, Jake, and Linda, and they put us up, and we were in Stanford training the tracks, and bumping Vince McMahon in the locker in the weight room.
Yeah.
I'm working out with the old WWF neon lights, bro. Like, as I saw as a kid, and I'm just going crazy. And,
Wow.
And we're still talking like, well, it's gonna be. Which one of us do you think? Like, it could be there. So that's that, right? Boom. That we have that, and so I can't say anything. And I know what happens, so we wrap in January. So I can't go back and play football because I'm like, bro, I'm about to go sign this contract, and if I get her playing for UNLV, I'll be sick, bro.
Yeah,
so so it was just a thing where I was like, all right, well, yeah, I'm sorry, but but this is a thing. I really see that this is an avenue for me, and that got me a lot of heat, bro. That got me a lot of heat. with the athletic department. But, I mean, I don't know, rightfully so. I came here to play football, and then I stopped playing football.
Yeah.
But anyway, anything could happen, right? So now I got everything riding on this, right? Now I'm like, all right, well, I'm not playing football, and I'm starting to kind of become like a little local celebrity on campus, not even just on campus, but like around, Vegas in this time.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, all right, well, I'm just going to go to school for this last semester, and then I'm going to sign this deal, this contract, and probably go to, because they were sending you either Louisville or, where was Heartland? Heartland was I think that was in Springfield, Missouri, or Kansas City, Missouri. That's where Les Thatcher. So Jim Cornette was in OVW, and Les Thatcher was in HWA, right? Shout out to Les Thatcher. So I'm just like, all right, well, I'm gonna finish up this semester, and then I'm gonna figure out where I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
So we get to WWF New York, bro, and they get up. My family's there. We all at these tables, and my family's around me. You know what I mean? Not just my immediate family, but my New York family is there. So we at the table, and everybody's there. They done brought everybody, and they show our final matches, and me and Chavo go crazy. And my dad, I'll never forget this, right? My dad, who used to yell at me because I was watching Monday Night Raw instead of Monday Night Football. You want to be a football player and you watching this stupid ass wrestling? Da, 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 da. I mean, shout out if you can relate, cause, and who was not really feeling the fact that I came out here to play football, and now you throwing football away to do stupid ass wrestling. Like, what is wrong with you? But nevertheless, my pa, he was there, right? He was there supporting. And after my match with Chavo, we kind of leaned in and was like, holy shit, I think you won. And I'm like, nigga, I told you.
Yeah.
I told you.
Told you.
And then they picked two girls. And then they picked Jackie Gator and Linda Mouse. So we heard, so Jackie was first. Oh, no, Linda was first. So now we was like, all right, well, it's between me and Jake, right? Jackie's next. Matter of fact, Jake stood up because they said, oh, it was actually something, like if you go back and watch, it was actually a thing. So Stacy Keebler is reading it, and so she looks at it, she says, does Mr. McMahon know about this? And everybody's now confused. And then she says,
shooting.
all right, Jack.
Dang.
So Jake stands up because he hears Jackie. Both of us are sitting there like,
Whoa.
and you can see our mouth. Damn. They got the cameras on us, but so yeah, they picked both of us. They picked two girls, and then I'm like, damn. All right, well, I done blew up my football career.
Yeah.
So now what, right? So,
Man.
I didn't want to go back to school because I came here. I didn't come here to go to school. I came here to play football. So now it's like I don't want to go to school UNLV if I'm not playing football. Like none of this makes sense. So now I got to start working, and now I have to figure out how am I going to advance this wrestling thing, because I'm stuck at this point. I'm bit, right? Like
Yeah,
once
you got
the bug,
bit.
I'm bit. And so I realize and I see that most of these people that were in Tough Enough before me had tried to utilize just what they had from Tough Enough and go in the indies, and they were getting their asses booed out of the building. There was 3 or 4 guys that did that and was just not equipped for the indies, and it just was not a good look for Tough Enough. So I did not want to, and this is early, so you can kind of get on the internet and see what's happening with wrestling people, around. So I just didn't want that, and I remember I was about to, I woke up like 2 o'clock in the morning one time, and the TV's on, and I see wrestling, but it's like in a warehouse, and it looked like a lot of people, right? It looked like a bunch of people, but I'm groggy, and as I kind of blink my eyes, it's 3 or 4 people in a row, but it's people painted on the walls all the way back, and it's Buffalo Gyms. So I don't know if anybody remember Buffalo Gym. That's an old.
This is history, folks. Here, listen up here.
Shout out. So this Buffalo Gyms, right? Buffalo Gym is an old wrestling promoter. Used to run indie shows. I don't even remember remember, I think like at the Sahara Event Center, but then he bought his own thing. And then there's actually a Unsolved Mysteries episode about who killed Buffalo Jim.
Oh,
But,
oh my goodness.
But yeah, so he was using a lot of guys like that's where Rikishi was training dudes like Rush. I get Roosh. I would say get Roosh and Rush confused. Definitely not Roosh. Rush and dudes like Tafuli, Jimmy Snooker Jr. Those guys were training at Buffalo's gym school, right? So, but then I get an email. I'm literally about to go. But then I get an email about a week later about the Las Vegas Pro Wrestling Academy, and it was actually Rush. It was Rush. He said, "Hey man, come here. We can work out some tuition. All you have to do is just say, hey, I'm Kenny King, Tough Enough, and I train here, and blah 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 blah, and we'll get you trained up." And that's what I did. I wanted to. Man, I didn't want to go nowhere and be unprepared, right? Yeah. So I trained for a year before I took any indie bookings. I came here and we did shows at this little warehouse behind the Rio. I think it was like 50 people, and in the summer it was fucking hot, and in the winter it was fucking cold.
Yeah.
But the UWF, shout out to the UWF. That's Vegas ancient history. But we was in the UWF every Friday night, and it was 50 of them, and it was and a bunch of us learning our craft. And Nick Bockwinkel would come in and do promo classes on Thursdays. Nice. Scott Casey, who trained Booker T, would come in and do Wednesdays and Friday, so we'd do Mondays and Wednesday class, and that's how I finished that was my wrestling finishing school. It was UWF out behind the Rio, and we got it on. And so about a year into it, I started kind of branching out and taking indies in California and in Utah and in Arizona, and that was the first year and a half of my wrestling career.
Man, so off the rip, you had one of those experiences where your career was kind of built off, in a way of like being judged wrongly or just off on a weird foot, because you have the Tough Enough, you don't win. You go to UNLV, you don't play football. Now you're out of UNLV. You're in the streets. You're in Vegas. You got to figure out a way. So you started training. You come out here to Vegas and get you trained on. What's your mentality? I know you explained a little bit, but what's kind of your mentality at this point? Was it a situation where, was there any anger, kind of in those moments where you kind of felt like, man, was there any sense of just wanting to prove that, maybe for yourself and maybe for others as well, or what was going through your mindset during this time?
Oh man, it was a lot of anger actually, because everything kind of went left, right? I had this period where I couldn't watch wrestling anymore, because like I'd turn on Raw and like Jackie Gator would be on Raw and I'd be like, son of a bitch. Yeah. And then I couldn't watch college football because like I should be doing that, but I'm not doing that. So I was in this kind of box where I'm like, damn, I should be doing this, I'm not doing it. I should be doing this, I'm not doing it. And I was selling timeshare to support my wrestling habit, is what they say, right? I was selling timeshare, just trying, because that was the only thing flexible where I could go to California on a Friday or a Saturday, and be back to work on Sunday. But it was, I just kind of put that into what I was doing. Like I put a lot of that hostility, frustration into training, to working out, and to really like showing them like, yo, I'm about to blow them out of the water. Because I remember watching that match. I don't know if I could show it to you individually, but Jackie and Chris Nowinski had a match with Trish Stratus and JBL that some people
call it the
worst match of all time. Right? Where Jackie Gator takes a back bump bulldog. Trish tries to bulldog her off the second rope, and Jackie takes a back bump, and that's the finish. Yeah. And I watched that, and I almost broke my TV because, I messed my life up for this shit.
Yeah.
You out there doing this, and like that's my spot. That's my spot. So, I don't know. It became a vendetta to get as good as I possibly could, man. And then because it's also the thing too, right? Like you said, like Tough Enough launches you, but it only launches you kind of halfway if you don't win. So now what it does is you are kind of your name, and only because this thing has a name. And once you start taking indie shows, dudes are not looking for you to fail. Like people come on, it's Tough Enough idiots coming in here. It's Tough Enough guy. What the fuck does this guy know? Da 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 da. So they're looking for you not to be good. They're looking for you to be for a reason to talk some shit about you in the locker room. And that's why I was glad, and that's why I was great about once I started taking these bookings. I was like, bro, I'm not taking my foot off that neck.
Yeah.
And I was, I built a nice little home in SoCal, built a nice little home in Utah. When Utah wasn't much going, it was like Beaver County and St. George and Salt Lake City, but like they had a little thing rocking for a time.
Man,
Arizona.
Kenny was the king of Utah too, during the heyday too. Don't forget that. That was his territory. Easter egg. It's a real
Cedar
Easter egg
City,
right
Utah.
there.
Shout out to all my Cedar City things. y'all probably got families and all that now. But, Cedar City and my St. George thing.
Some St. George thangs thangin' in Utah.
Wow. Folks, make sure you like, comment, subscribe. We're live here. We got a very special guest, the K-I-N-G King, Kenny King. True legend in the pro wrestling game is definitely going down. Telling us the upbringing, the guy that made, the road it took for this guy to be molded into the legend that he is right now. So, what was your first biggest opportunity when it came to the wrestling scene? So, when it came to indie bookings, or was your first big opportunity Ring of Honor? Was there something before that led into the Ring of Honor?
So I was doing the indies out here, and in 2005. So I'm noticing that Ring of Honor. So Ring of Honor's popping, but the East Coast indie scene is really what was going on. Like really, the West Coast indie scene wasn't anything like it is today at all. There wasn't really anything here that was even paying. California was like PWG was just getting started. Arizona was spotty with what they was doing. You had Navajo was really running the majority of the shows in Arizona.
We got a dub on Navajo Warrior.
Shout out!
Shout out.
Shout out
Yeah.
to Navajo Warrior.
So I was like, well, I'm not really progressing anything here, so I moved to Florida. I'm from Florida. I was dating this girl who was living in Florida. My baby mama. Oops, my bad. See, when you say my baby mama,
Yo, sure.
all kind of bad stuff happened. Say her name, man. Anyway, so I moved to Florida because of that, and I was like, all right, well, that's a cool home base. I could base up to, I could go up to New England, to get the New England scene. I could get to Georgia, that North Carolina scene. Florida had a scene going on, so I could just kind of bounce up and down. And so Florida, there was a promotion in Florida. There still is a promotion in Florida by the name of FIP, Full Impact Pro, which was owned by a guy named Sal, who was the guy who was doing all the Ring of Honor DVDs at the time. So at this time, DVDs are going crazy.
Yeah.
Like the DVD wrestling is the lifeblood of pro wrestling, really, at this point. So Sal Azuna runs this company, but he also does the DVDs for Ring of Honor. So Gabe will kind of book and kind of co-promote FIP shows and bring guys down to wrestle the FIP guys that he thinks might be good enough to come up to Ring of
Gabe
Honor.
as in Gabe Sapolsky.
Gabe Sapolsky, yeah. Shout out to Gabe.
Shout out.
So that's kind of happening, but at the same time, I run into Jess Ward, who was one of my female roommates on Tough Enough, who, by insane chances, now married to Tommaso Ciampa. So shout out to Jess and Tommaso. But so I ran into Jess Ward somewhere in Orlando, and she was like, "I'm doing PA for TNA. Like, why do I can see if I can kind of get you in. I'll talk to Terry Taylor because I'd known Terry Taylor. I'd met Terry Taylor at some point for maybe like Cauliflower Alley here. When Cauliflower
Hey, shout out to
when
CAC.
Cauliflower Alley used to be legit though. Like I was like shout out to Cauliflower Alley, but like you used to have to be tortured to get a spot on that show.
Yeah.
Like they would run you through the ringer to get a spot on that show because they would only do like 4 or 5 matches, and they would do it for like the old timers. You know, they
Yeah.
do it for the honorees, so they don't want to have nobody that's going to bore these people or die in front of them.
Yeah,
so
no BS.
You would have to. You couldn't buy your way on the show, and I'm not hating on nobody for how they do anything now, but you used to have to get past Les Thatcher to get on that show.
Wow.
So you know your boy was on 2 years in a row. But anyway.
Yeah.
So, so she gets me on to the TNA thing, and my first spot that I got to do at TNA was Raven was going crazy. Him and Abyss were doing a thing, and so I got to try to hold Raven back, and then Raven starts smashing everybody with garbage cans.
The security spot.
Smash in the head with a garbage can on TNA. That was my first one, and then a couple weeks later, my very first match was I wrestled Abyss. And then it kind of went on like that for a little bit. So yeah, so TNA was my very first and then and then Ring of Honor. So like the TNA thing kind of ran its course. That's a whole different other story. And then the team that I was with in FIP, Gabe brought the Briscoes down to wrestle us because the Briscoes were the FIP tag champs. So like you guys are gonna take the belts off the Briscoes. Shout out to my MFing dog.
Yeah.
Shout out to my MFing dog, Jay Briscoe, baby. And you too, Chicken. Shout out to Mark Briscoe. And so that that's the first time I got to meet and wrestle the Briscoes, and I got to. So one time it was I main evented with Tyler Black, or AKA Seth Rollins, and that was the match that got me signed to Ring of Honor. So
Wow.
So that's kind of how that happened. After the Tough Enough thing, FIP got more involved, and then I got signed by Ring of Honor.
Okay. So, did you know going into that match with Tyler Black that if I connect on this, there's a good chance that I could convert this to me getting signed?
Or was it just another match?
No. What happened was I was selling timeshare to support my wrestling habit, and I was working in Orlando, and the show was in a place called Arcadia, Florida, which is a good 3 and change.
Wow.
2.5 or 3 and change with Florida traffic, right? So to get down there, so I didn't get off. I think I'd made a sale or something. I was supposed to be there at 6, and I didn't get off until 4. So I think show's like 7:30, and I'm hauling ass down 75 to get there, and I get in, and Gabe's in my face. What the fuck do you think you're doing? You were supposed to be here. I'm giving you this opportunity, and you're showing that you don't belong. You don't just starts tearing my ass apart, and I'm just like, I'm in a suit, bro. Like I'm coming from work, like but he's giving me the business, and so I'm just like, well, shit. And it was a match that I wanted, right? Like it was a match I was looking forward to having anyway. So we tore that bitch down, and Gabe comes to me afterward. He says, you're getting on some Ring of Honor dates, and so just clear your stuff. You're on Ring of Honor dates now.
Yeah. Great.
And that's how that went down. So he was not very unhappy after the match. So that's So if you ever get heat with a promoter, just have a 5-star banger match, and then all the heat goes away.
That's
I can attest to that.
That's high key. That's high key advice he lives by.
So wow. Okay, that's how the ROH signing happened, And after that signing, how long were you down there before you ended up dipping? And then after Ring of Honor, you went to TNA, went back, right?
Well, I mean, I guess I wasn't
Or
really there
went-
in the first place. But
Yeah.
but I guess I did kind of go back because I was there, but
Mhm.
I wasn't really there. I was at Ring of Honor for 4 years.
Okay.
It's good 4 years. You know what I'm saying? Like I really got a chance. I mean, I got to wrestle Ben. I got to wrestle Bryan Danielson, Nigel
Yeah.
McGuinness, Chris Hero.
Did you
Claudio
win?
Castagnoli.
You won the first tag titles during that first
Red,
run.
Red Titus,
right?
Red Titus, Kenny King, the All Night Express.
Yep.
Beat Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin for the Ring of Honor World Tag Team
The
Championship.
greatest tag team.
World's
You know,
greatest tag team.
world's
Wrestling's greatest tag team.
Greatest tag team
Yeah.
then,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Wrestling's
yeah.
greatest tag team at the time.
Wrestling's greatest tag team. Yep.
Oh, did they
No.
beat the Briscoes for the titles?
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember seeing that
The
promo.
promo. Oh, the Haas and Benjamin promo.
No, not their promo.
Oh, okay.
Mark and Jay's promo.
Well, their promos
when
were
they had to
top-notch.
face them. This was during the first time I was like, I was doing my dive of Ring of Honor and stuff. After CM Punk, drops the pipe bomb.
Oh,
drops
you were
Ring of
you were
Honor.
digging.
I was like, Ring of Honor, what is this joint? And then come across Jay Briscoe, and then he's cutting a promo saying, basically, trashing Charlie Haas and Sheldon Benjamin. It was a grade A promo. Y'all wasn't setting up the chairs. If it was up to y'all to set up the chairs in the ring, there'd be no damn show. Jay Briscoe's a goat.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Okay. So that was the first one, and then you get to TNA, or was it Impact at the time?
It
was
was
TNA.
Impact. Well, so it was TNA, but the show was Impact Wrestling. That's what it was. So
Total
show,
nonstop action.
The show
Impact.
on Spike was Impact Wrestling.
Yes.
Everything else was like TNA. So TNA Bound for Glory or TNA, Lockdown.
Okay. And how did that come about? How was that transition? Did somebody from TNA hit you up? Did it
No, he don't know the story.
Yeah,
He don't know the
Some will say I do know the story, but the people may not know the story. The people
Okay.
on the,
Okay, I'll-
we don't have to you don't have to get too dirty, with it. But, as much as you'd like the people to know.
Well, Kenny King and Red Titus are Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions. Man, there's just a lot of parts to this story.
You got poached.
So it's so my deal's coming up. I mean, I guess this is the most important part of the story, right? My deal's coming up in May. So Best in the World is in May 26th, I think, right? And my deal's up. It's coming up. So we're going to have this title match because the ANX is over, right? We're big baby faces now. We're over, and it's time for us to have this big title match with Charlie and Shelton. And but my deal's coming up.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, well, I don't know what I want to do. At that point in time, I was thinking 2 or 3 things. I was like, I believe that I've earned the right to at least kind of see what my value is on the market. Or you know what, I might just kind of be done with wrestling. Like I just this might have just run its course. Like I had some fun, and I got to maybe have an adult life at this point. He was like, all right, well, let's not. So the person in charge, let's not even get too much into his punk ass, but the person in charge was like, all right, well, we have plans, and we'd like to kind of like carry out these plans. And I was like, I get that, but shit happens. So I didn't sign. I didn't resign. There was never any. So what it needs to be said, it was never any like, hey man, I'll give you 10 cents more to stay. It was basically just like, I just want you to stay here so that we can. So we'll sign an extension for you, but I want you to stay here so that we can continue these plans. So at this point, I'm getting phone calls and I'm talking to Bill DeMott at NXT. And my wrestling dad, Al Snow, has called me and asked me if I want to be in the X Division tournament to do Ultimate X at Destination X in the summertime. So I'm weighing both these options out, right? And at the same time, this is all happening, and we have to figure out what's going to happen with this tag title match. So, and I'm just kind of paraphrasing and cutting because this is a long, drawn out story.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember that I am unsigned, right?
Yes.
And I'm like, look, I'm not going to sign just for this. These are the issues. These are the opportunities that may happen. Or you know what? I just may want to stay in Ring of Honor, but I believe that I deserve the opportunity to see all that out and do with that information what you will.
Yeah.
Do what you want, right? I'm still not going to sign this extension, but I'm being 100% real with you about what I'm about to do. So we win the tag team titles, unsigned as it is. And I told Rhett that day, because I didn't sign. That day we walk into the Hammerstein, and and he's like, "Did you sign?" I said, "Nah, man." So I said, "I'm sorry," because me and Rhett busted our ass to make that really work. But I was like, it just kind of is what it is. And Rhett's my dog, and he understood, right?
Yeah.
So
So you won the tag titles on that May date?
yeah,
Yeah.
a day or two
Yeah.
after my deal was up.
A whole.
Yeah. That's what makes it. That's what makes it because he won the title unsigned. He was doing the and handshake
But that's
deal.
on them.
No
then at
deal
that
was
point.
no deal was offered at the time. He was asking for it.
It wasn't even a deal. It was would you sign this extension? And I was like, what? Well, just while you are out here looking, just sign this extension to us. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
And when I
because-
said that to Bruce Pritchard, because it got as far as that at that point, and I was like, hey, this is what your friend is saying. And he's like, yeah, don't do that because then you're stuck. Said the same thing to Bill DeMott. Hey, can I sign an extension and still be talking to y'all?
No.
Absolutely not. Oh, okay. Well, then, yeah, I'm not doing that. So, all right. Well, I'm not going to do that.
responsibility is not on
I'm
you
not
then
going
at
to
that
do
point.
that, right? And I said I'm not going to do it. So I told Rhett, and we go out to go eat, and we walk right into everybody in charge. Right?
Yep.
And I'm like, all right, here we go. And everybody in charge is like, hey guys, big day today, big day. All right. Rhett looks at me. I look at Rhett. Let's go eat, bro. So there's a whole nother story about how this finish comes to be. And that's like a shoot interview style. Like, I don't think
This is like Club Shay Shay. This is a place for.
So
be honest.
do we talk? Do we draw back the curtain, or is this kind of a?
Yeah, sure.
All right. Well, I'll tell this part of the story then. So, as it comes to the finish, right? If at that point, man, if you watch Ring of Honor, every title match was an all-out.
It was an all-out
absolute
war.
Athletic war.
Yes.
And the best team came out on top with their finish. That's just how the shit went. Unless we're building and doing something else, right?
Yeah.
But if we're putting over baby faces, baby, this is what we do. So this guy comes in with this cockamamie ass 1972 Fantastics versus the Majestics ass finish, where we have this. We have this 15-minute athletic contest, and then they isolate Rhett Titus for 5 minutes, and then they beat him up, and then they bust him open, and then Charlie gets on the mic and says, if you don't stop this match, referee, we're going to kill Rhett Titus. And I'm like, did I get
Lord.
shot?
Yeah. How?
Like,
What am I doing
am
here?
I dead? Like, no, you're just there trying. So what am I doing while they're beating the shit out of my tag team
Yeah.
partner? Like, what am I doing to stop all this? You're just going to, and then you're going to do something, and then Rhett's going to roll him up. And I'm like, this is the absolute, I said, this is the fucking shits, man. This is terrible. Like, what the fuck are we talking about here?
Yeah.
What?
It's all- and this is in the booking meeting where we're going over this, and da-da-da, and Charlie, and me and Charlie are super tight now. We weren't maybe necessarily then, but Charlie's like, well, this kid, we maybe don't want the belts. I was like, I don't give a fuck about those belts, bro. This is stupid. I said, how did y'all win? I said, when you beat Mark and Jay Briscoe, what did you use? Oh, your finish. Oh, as a matter of fact, no, they didn't beat Mark and Jay Briscoe. They beat Chris and Claudio. They beat the Kings of
The
Wrestling.
Kings of Wrestling.
So you beat Chris and Claudio using what? Your finish? Oh, okay. Just checking. Just want to make sure we all on the level here. And my dog, you love him, but this is on him, and you know it. And I said to Red, I was like, man, this is on you, bro. Like, you the one that's got to do, like, they want him to get color and everything. Like, you have to do this, man. So that's on you. Like, I think this is absolutely stupid. And I think, and I'm saying in protest, I feel like with all the wrestling knowledge that we have in this room, or how about this? We just have a 20-minute great match, man, and the good boys go up. Like, why are we doing any of this? Now, it's because some of those guys didn't want to put us over, and this guy didn't want to tell them to do the right thing.
Yep.
And just say, hey, man, it don't matter what you feel. Like, these are the guys that we're doing, right? Yeah. So, so that went down, and we limped across the finish line. And I called Al Snow that night. Maybe 2 people might know that, but me and Homicide went out to go celebrate. I was on the phone with Al Snow, like, yo, I'm going to be at Destination X, or I'm going to be in this X Division tournament.
Yep.
So, and then there was a whole other thing that happened because we had TV tapings, and he was trying to tell me what I could and couldn't do, and I was like, bro, just here, like what you like here.
Take it.
This is a
Take
problem.
it then.
Because I'm going to do this. Well, here's what happened. So I told him that these are the things that were on the table, right?
Yeah.
You never show your hand, ever show your hand, right? But I was like, look, man, these are a few of the cards I may or may not have, right? And then so I went to go to do this TNA tryout. They were like, you're going to be on Impact tonight. And so so I could have, by all means, shown up with the Ring of Honor World Tag titles on, and and Medusa then thrown them in the trash or whatever. But I would have never done that because, one, I had too much respect for Kerry Silken, and I had too much respect for Mark and Jay Briscoe, right? Like, those are their titles.
Yeah.
I would never do no shit like that. But I did the right thing, and I called. I called Delirious, and Delirious is like, well, Jim's not gonna be happy, and I'm like, well, that's.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Like, well, it is what it is. So, so I can remember we're sitting in the bleachers in the Impact Zone, and I'm talking to a couple of the boys, and my phone rings, and it's this guy, and as soon as I look down, they look down, and I look up, and everybody's vapor trail, they out, right? They so and that's arguments and screaming matches, and nonsensical Facebook posts later. That was my first appearance on TNA Impact. That was July 3rd, 2012, I believe.
Man, so at this point in your career, a whole lot of different twists and turns. How you were introduced to the game, how that mixed in with reality shows at this point, and now doing a switch from Ring of Honor to TNA. So fast forward a little bit for me. Now you're in TNA, and you're now a player in the X Division. What's your mindset here at this point now, with already having a little bit of that heat over there in ROH, and being in this position now where TNA at times on Spike TV, they're trying to compete big time with the WWE. They're bringing in the big guns. They're bringing in all these different legends. Where do you feel you're at now? Do you feel like, okay, like, I've arrived, or what's going through this point in time for you?
So I get to Impact. So I do the Destination X thing. So I go all the way through, right? So we go to the pay-per-view for the X Division Championship. It's me. So they do this tournament, right? So everybody's in it. Me, Jigsaw, Black G's as Rashard Cameron. Shout out to Black G's. Sanjay Dutt, Z-Mayan, or
Joaquin Wild.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's my dog right there. Doug Williams. Like all these X Division names are in this tournament, right? So I advance, and so it's me, Sanjay, Scorpio Sky,
wow,
and Zima. 4-way in Ultimate X, my very first Ultimate X, by the way, and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Mason Andrews, that's what Scorpio Sky was at the time, Mason Andrews. And to have this, boom, have these great matches, go back, do Impact. So it's now they decided that I'm the one that's so Zema Ian wins, and they decide I'm the one that's going to chase Zema. I go kind of do like this thing where because Austin Aries is the champion at the time, so and Bobby Roode just got is chasing him, so they do the heels where it's Bobby and Zema and me and Austin tag and main event, so I'm getting like this thing happen.
Getting the main event spots on bigger TV.
Making this thing happen. I get my match with Rob Van Dam on pay-per-view, which was like I am the two guys that I feel like influenced my wrestling style the most are Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam, and a little bit of Shelton in there too, put the athleticism, but Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam, and I feel like I've been very blessed. I've been in a program with Jerry, and then I got to wrestle Rob. I was married to Rob for a while, but like this was the one for me, right? I'm like, yo, I get 12 minutes of Rob Van Dam on pay-per-view, bro. What? So there's some things that happen in that match, like Rob knocks me out in the middle of it.
Oh, wow.
And that's a whole nother story. But Rob knocks me out, and while I'm trying to kind of scramble to get my shit together, which is obviously taking some time because Rob hit me with a knee right to my forehead. The Hulk Hogan walks by and it's just like, man, what's wrong with this guy? What's going on with this match? Because it was like a period of time where because Earl comes over, is like, are you all right? I'm like, fuck no. So anyway, Hogan sees the match, right? So after this match, I'm like, man, we about to get it on and popping. Nothing. I sit home from that match was maybe like September. I'm home from like September to like December. And this is weekly impacts, right? This is every Thursday night, right? Every Thursday night with house shows. They're doing house shows now too, right?
Yeah.
So weekly. So a TNA weekend would go, Thursday. We might tape Friday, but then Fridays, Saturdays are house shows, and then sometimes loop back around for a Sunday night pay-per-view, right? So the schedule was very big back then. So all this stuff is happening, and I'm not on house shows. I'm not on no Explosion tapings, no Impact tapings, pay-per-views. I'm like, what the hell happened? So I get call in December, like late December. Okay, we're gonna bring you in for like a 3-way. You, Zema, and Kid Cash on Explosion at the end of the night, right? Because they used to do Explosion tapings, kind of like ROH. They do 1 or 2 before, and then like all the rest of them after. So we're the last Explosion taping match, and but people still stayed, and we blew the shit away, right? So then they were like, well, hey, can you come back and do this on Impact next week? Came back in, did it on Impact. So then that's when, at that point, they were bringing me back, right? And they were like, okay, we're gonna have you chase Rob, and we're thinking about putting the extra division title on you. So I said all that to say this, right? So I was on fire. I got absolutely cut off.
Damn.
And then I was ready to melt everything when I came back, especially when I heard why, right? So a couple of Eric Bischoff and I have a great relationship, man. He's a guy that
Bischoff
that shot me straight, did me great while we worked together. And I didn't hear this from him, so I'm not burying you, Eric. But I heard this from a guy that this was a meeting that Eric was having. And so they were talking about me, and Hogan was like, everybody's putting me over, and Hogan's like, no, I saw that guy wrestle Rob. He's not good. And they were like, wait, what? No, that's not what's happening. Like, and everybody was trying to be like, no, that's not a thing. And he was like, no, it's not a thing. Don't worry about it. So I sat all that time until he saw that match with me, Kid Cash, and Zema. And then, to his credit, whatever credit you may get for this, went back to the next creative meeting and was like, all right, I take back everything I said about Kenny King. which then jump-started me back into winning the X Division championship.
Wow. So
Somebody that
Whoa,
was
hold
told
on.
me that verbatim.
Whoa.
So they didn't keep you away because did they know that you got concussed during that match? Because I would have
Yeah.
thought this was like a concussion protocol to keep you off for a few weeks.
I mean, I finished it. I was okay, but it was almost like one of those things like, are you okay? And they checked me out or whatever, but
and you were fine.
I was fine.
And wow, so you're saying potentially that you were off of TNA Impact TV for a few months.
Just because of that, somebody saw a portion of the match where I was probably fighting for my life. You know what I'm saying? But made a decision on me about that based off of that.
off a few
And
seconds.
that's just how crazy things go. You know what I mean? Someone can that's literally how this business is based. Somebody sees this or says this or thinks this, and that holds up until something else had happened. Again, to his credit, he was like, boom, I was wrong or whatever, but I was a chunk out of my
Damn, so
situation.
yeah,
I
off of
just signed a deal, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
at that point. Because I didn't sign a deal that Destination X thing, all of that stuff. Like, I didn't sign a deal until like right before the Rob Van Dam thing. And that was 2 months after I left Ring of Honor.
Okay.
Okay, so definitely. So betting on yourself once again on that situation. Almost got your legs cut off because of an unfortunate spot. But circled it back around. Did some things on an explosion. Their Dell of Element show, pretty much their other show, got back on the main roster to feud with Rob Van Dam. This is okay. So now we're at a point now, and I've asked you this before in the past, but for people that are listening, when you won the X Division Championship, did it feel like then that you made it in a sense, or were you feeling something different at the time?
Oh, that was it for me, man. To beat Rob Van Dam for that X Division championship, right? Like, that's the one. That's the one that AJ held. That's the one that Joe held. Chris Daniels, Shannon Moore, Kurt Angle. You know what I'm saying?
Kurt Angle's
if you
smart,
name 'em,
yeah.
They held that particular one, so that was the one. So I beat Rob Van Dam for the X Division championship. I was like, damn. I'm in here. I'm in here. Like, I finally felt like, okay, like, yeah, I was in the mix and I'm being used, but I gambled on myself, and that gamble finally paid off. Like, I literally just threw everything in, and I bet on my ability and my ability to create in any opportunity that they gave me. So that was when I finally was like, okay, this thing's paid off. Yeah,
Wow.
It was a dope emotional moment for me.
Who'd you call first?
Damn, that's a good question. Who did I call first? I think I called my daughter first. I think I did. She was the first person I saw. So when I got home, so
There's an element here in the game that we don't talk about enough because we don't have the experience. But being a parent, being a wrestler, I try to explain what kind of pressure that is to do, because this is a lot of pressure for us just trying to figure out our way through this and try to break a glass ceiling. What kind of added angst does it add to not only have to be a wrestler that's trying to find, his next deal or his next match or his next opportunity, but also being a full-time dad and also having your daughter?
I mean, my daughter's 17, bro. So
so you've seen the whole thing almost.
Yeah, man. Look, it's once you become a parent, like everything changes, man. I would never say that I was a selfish person, but like if I wanted to get on a plane and go to Europe for 3 weeks, I was going for 3 weeks. Before I had a kid, I was doing in another life, in another universe, cinematic universe. I was doing you could catch Kenny King as a Chippendale on tour in Europe.
Oh,
And if I wanted to stay in Germany for 3 weeks, 4 weeks after the tour was done, I did. I did what I wanted to do. But all of that is over once you have a child. Once you decide that you're okay, I'm going to be a father. Everything now is that child, your baby's calculated, or should be. You have to absolutely make concessions and sacrifices and calculations that not just for me. How am I going to be able to do this with this, and not just provide in a monetary sense. Like I'm a father, so I need to be there. And so that has always been the trickiest part of this, is because I've always had to make the decision that kept me closer to her, which has not always been the best of my career. Like I've been offered deals to go to NXT, and the first question was, when can he move to Florida? And the first time, and that's kind of why I ended up going to Impact in 2012 instead of going to NXT in 2012, because I had just got relitigated my case, and I had just got joint physical and legal custody of my daughter again, with the custody, the visits the way that I wanted it and all of that. And bro, that's I was at that point 16 grand into that, so I'm not going to give that up. Now I get this, and then I say, okay, well, I'm going to move out of state, and then I forfeit custody of my daughter to her mom, and she can now do whatever she wants to do, move wherever she wants to go. I moved here to Vegas in 06 pretty much or 09 to be close to my daughter, right?
Yeah.
So that was always the thing. No matter where I would have to go, no matter where I would wrestle, no matter what kind of contracts I would sign, I would have to be close enough to know what's going on all the time. That was actually the catalyst of me going on The Bachelorette, because the whole thing is there are no phones. You're not allowed to be on your phone. You're not calling anybody unless somebody's sick or dying. You're not calling. I says, well, that's cool. I'm not going if I can't FaceTime my kid once a week.
Yeah.
She has spelling tests and things like we got to talk about and things like that. So I'm not going. And I was the first person they ever let to, hey. And then once they saw that there was a thing, then they'd be like, hey man, you want to talk to Mackenzie? We'll call Mackenzie. So exploit my
yeah,
shit,
it became
man.
a thing.
Yeah, it became a thing, right?
He would get it on camera. Look at this guy.
It's always been about sacrifice, man. It's always been, and I have missed birthdays, and I have been overseas for holidays and times where, especially when she was younger, and the daddies don't goes, and those things hurt. But at the same time, you want this Frozen doll, and you want to go to Disneyland, and so it's just that balance, man. You have to, for me, there was nothing ever anything worth not being able to be there with her. So I made my time and my career about how can I be the best pro wrestler while still being the best dad that I could be, while having split custody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So.
Yeah, it sounds like that was a vehicle that kind of powered you up a bit to break through those barriers and things.
That's my dog, man.
Yeah,
she was there when I beat Kushida for the World TV title the first
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, that was here. That was here in Samstown, right?
Here at Samstown, yeah.
Yeah,
That's my dog,
nah.
man. She's one of my biggest inspirations. She motivates me. She inspires me. It's a major thing.
I believe the first time I seen Kenny King perform live, I went to an ROH taping. It was a pay-per-view. Was it Death Before Dishonor? Yeah, it was a Death Before Dishonor, and I found out because I did a little bit of my ROH, like I was saying, a little bit of research and stuff, and I was literally sold on one match and one match only. I didn't know what else was happening. I was all like, I just saw this was going down. I was like, oh yeah, I have to be there. Adam Cole versus Jay Lethal for the ROH championship. And I was like, oh yeah, boom, I'm in there. Samstown is out here in Las Vegas. Boom, have to be there. was there for it, and it's funny because it was actually I believe it was the first time I seen Chris Bay as well, because at Sam Sound they did the meet and greets before, and he was helping Leo Rush, like with because Leo Rush was at a stand too, so we're just walking by all these wrestlers, but me and Denzel, we were just walking by all these wrestlers and stuff. We see like all these lines, and all we could think of was, damn, I'm pretty sure all these other wrestlers is mad as hell because the Young Bucks line is the only line that is the only thing that has a line, and it was a long line. So I believe that night I saw you wrestle as well. Didn't you have like a manager or somebody with you at the time?
Was it Amy Rose? Was it?
Yeah,
It was
I
like
think
a
you
dude.
might
No, I
have had
thought
a
it was
chick.
like a.
Oh, that might have been when we were doing the rebellion thing. So maybe Caprice Coleman might have been out
Okay.
there with me. Might have been doing the rebellion.
Yeah, because I remember just having mixed emotions about you. I was like, I don't know if this guy's good or not. Because you was doing the KING King thing. I was like, is he good? I'm not sure. It was the first time I seen that roster at all. So I just wanted to say that because that was the first time I ever seen you. And so you've been a part of a lot of groups, Ring of Honor, TNA Impact. Out of all those pairings you've been a part, because you were either positioned as the main focal point or one of the, I don't want to say subordinates, but somebody else was probably the main person spotlighted. What were you getting and gathering? Like, what kind of experiences were those, and what were those challenges like when given those opportunities?
I mean, they're all unique and they're all different, right?
Yeah.
Honor No More is different from La Facción Ingobernable, which is different from the Beatdown Clan.
Yeah.
In the Beatdown Clan, you are trying to, and I'm saying you, but me, you're trying to stand out in between MVP, Samoa Joe, and Low-Ki, and Bobby. Like we did that thing, me, Bobby, and MVP for a while too. So I'm trying to find space to breathe in that, you know what I mean? And that's, shout out to MVP. Like that's my dog, man. That's not like a wrestling friend. That's like my life friend.
Yeah.
I was nervous when when I first came back to TNA another time. I actually got sat on the bench after I lost the Exhibition Championship. I went back to Parts Unknown. And so when I came back, that's when the King of the Night thing started, right? The King of the Night character came back. So they had me pair with MVP. And so from the time that I'd ever seen MVP, I felt like him and I occupied a lot of the same space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cocky, blue chip athlete,
Yeah.
kind of guy, talk a lot of shit, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I was like, all right, that's cool. He's there. I'm here. We got him doing our thing. But when they brought him into TNA, and then they're like, well, you're going to be an MVP, I was very curious to see, A, what kind of dude this guy is. But B, how are we going to be able to bounce? Is he going to try to suck all the air out of the room? And now I got to kind of fight for space. And we talked about this too, because he was kind of on one side, kind of the same wavelength. Like, all right, well, how is he going to try to, is he going to try to take me out, or you know what I mean? So, but what was crazy about it is like getting to work with each other. All right, so I'll tell you another crazy story, a wild story after this. Getting to know each other and getting to kind of work with each other, I realized that like he can occupy this space and I can occupy this space, and we don't have to touch each other, right? Like, and me doing this allows him to be better here, and him doing this allows me to be way better here, right? Like he could be Vito Corleone and I could be O-Dog, and that's basically how we ran the BDC. Like I was O-Dog and Nicky Corleone, all the crazy wild ones, right? And he was the boss, right? So this is a dope story from that time. So we get so this is one of our first promos together. We have a live promo, and they hand us our scripts. Our writers hand us our scripts. So we sit, we talk, we're starting to get to know each other a little bit, right? We're kicking it, and we start. Hey, do you want to go over this? I was like, yeah, man, let's go over this verbiage together. We sit down, we read it, and so this is our first kind of confrontation, and he's the GM, and I've been kind of messing with shit. I just interrupted a match, and I'm doing all kind of stuff to kind of be seen, right? So he's like, what do you want, basically? So this is the premise of the promo. So the words are something like this, right? We're reading this, and we're going back and forth, and there's something like, something is like, Kenny, are you serious? And it says, Kenny says, serious is my grandfather's 1974 Brougham Cadillac with the bobblehead, and it says in parentheses, Kenny Bobble's head. Then we have a little bit more stupid dialogue, and then MVP says, well, since you don't know, oh God, this was it. Since you don't know who's got the skrill around here, how about me and you toot it and boot it tonight?
Damn.
We reading this shit.
Whoa.
At it, and I'm looking at
This
him.
dialogue.
Right? But I'm looking at him, but he's looking at me, right? I'm looking at this and looking at him. But he's looking
Tooted
at
and
me.
booted.
And I'm like, bro, what? We can't say this. And he said, I'm glad you said that. Let's go. He's looking at me to see if I'm going to be like, well, this is okay. He's just looking at me like, what's he going to say? What's he going to say?
That was a test.
What is this, bro? He's like, good. Come on. So we go to these writers who are Caucasian gentlemen, right?
That was about to be my question.
And MVP says to him, hey, man, can you do me a favor? You guys wrote the segment? Yeah. Have any questions? I have a question. What does this mean?
We get that Skrilla.
Since y'all don't know who has the Skrilla.
What?
Said, and he points to Skrilla. Can you tell me what this word in particular means?
The
He's
Skrilla.
like, well, you know, when you got the Skrilla, you got the...
How you kind of explain it to y'all?
No. And then he says, well, can you say this line? And he says, yeah, man, what do you say me and you toot and boot it tonight?
Yo.
We not tooting.
That's the real line. That's the real line that had me like, yo, whoa.
We not tooting and or booting it tonight. Just so you know, we not saying this. Kenny's not saying, he not bobbling his head. He not talking about no 1974 Brougham Cadillac. We not saying this. Here, take this. We got the segment.
Yeah, that's like some Marvel writers back in the day trying to write for Luke Cage.
Toot it and boot it with another. Me and this grown man gonna toot it and boot it tonight. Like what?
Hey, let's toot it and boot it.
What does that mean to you? That's the question. Like when you sitting down on your laptop writing this, what do you think this means?
Whoa, they was listening to some YG. They was listening to some YG.
What's the best thing? Oh man, I heard him say toot it and boot it on the radio.
Mirror Club.
They thought they was on the cusp, Kenny. They was like, we about to write. We got this written down.
Oh, you know who you are.
We about to pop them. Hey,
if they wrote that today, it'd
Bruce,
be
send
like,
it to him.
No cap. I'm standing on business.
No. Put it.
Business. Ain't no
Business. Put that. Put that, Carter. Business.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it was that.
Yeah,
was
for
the
sure.
bonding
Okay, man.
That's
So
how y'all got on the same page.
That's how we knew we was messing with each other.
yeah, man. No, so okay. So let me just preface this: the Kenny King now of 2024, with everything that you've been able to do and get done. What would you tell the younger Kenny King that was just coming to Vegas, not having a direct path after the football news? Would you tell him anything?
I tell him a couple things. I would tell him to exploit the power of your merchandising and relentlessly explore your brand, right? because I just wanted to be a wrestler, right? I wanted to be a wrestler and a talker and all of that, but I didn't understand the value of creating that brand and then all of the things that come from that brand. And you know, like, just I'm proud of the risks that I've taken. Everything that I've ever done has been a calculated risk, and I'm proud of that, the way that you know, most of those things have turned out. Just keep pushing, man. Like that was always the thing. Like I was always like, man, should I be doing something else? Should I be doing something else? And I was just like, this is what I want to do right now. Until I stop wanting to do this and want to say, all right, I want to put the amount of energy that made me, you know, whatever measure successful in this, I want to put it into something else. I'll never, because I'll never be able to be half in, half out. Once I'm done, I'm done. Like, you'll never catch Kenny King. Once I put them boots in the ring, and that's it. You won't see no, oh, whoops, I'm back on the Revival tour.
Revival tour, back on the road.
Depends on what that bag look like.
It does depend on what that bag look like. It does depend on what that bag look like.
Talks.
But I'm not going to do that. Like, I want to do this until I don't want to do it, or until we're like, you know, my body reasonably says, hey, bro, let's settle it down a bit. Yeah, I don't want to be, you know, no offense to nobody, and I ain't shooting no shade to nobody, but I used to go to Cauliflower Alley, man. I'd see the dudes that did it too long, and they look like they barely able to. I don't want to do it, man. I want to get out of here while my body works pretty well right now.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I feel like I got quite a bit left in the tank, but you know.
Of course, man.
See
You
how
still on
everything
this. Shoot, like I was gonna say, the next question is, you know, what can we expect from Kenny King in 2024? You know.
I'm sorry. Is there more?
No. I was saying, you know, we're kind of in a sense. I feel like with your career, it always has kind of this same circle of genesis where, you know, you always find a way to reinvent yourself, go to the next phase, find a way to mix in that, go to the next phase. Equity everywhere you've been, you know. We've seen it. We've been on the road with you. We've seen you at different places. How other people that we also, you know, have looked around to for years, how they look at you, you know, and how they put respect on you. Yeah, man. What can we expect from Kenny King in this version of 2024?
Man, I think I'm just gonna do what I want to do. I think I'm going to. I think I got some international stuff popping off, and I'm happy. I'm happy over there.
Yeah, they
got
love
some
us.
international
They love
stuff
them.
going down. So as soon as I finalize that, I'll be popping off with that. But you know, I'm too old not to do this the way that I want to do it. And so I'm just gonna kind of do it the way that I want to do it. I want to spread my knowledge, and I want to bring those up around me, and give to y'all the way people gave to me.
Yeah.
So you know and who knows where that might go.
Yeah.
So right now I'm just kind of weighing my options and trying to see what's next as far as like wrestling and career and contract and all that stuff wise. But you know, I feel good. I want to continue to feel good, and I think that's a big part of it, right? Feeling good, body and soul.
Nice.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we close out, let's read the rest of the comments if we have a few more.
Yeah. We got RJ. He says, "Hey faction, my question is: does entrance music, you know, really make or break a superstar?" And then he gives examples like Edge, and then Bray Wyatt, and Roman Reigns, you know, LA Knight, etc.
I sort of think so. I think music matters. I personally think entrance music matters.
It's big.
He has two questions.
I got you for the second one. Just to answer this one, just for me to give an example, Shayna Baszler, who's a great wrestler, great performer. Her NXT thing, like it was, I don't know.
It was
Compared to her current theme, I feel like there was definitely more star power in her then. Like the music matters, I think,
for
honestly,
sure.
because if somebody has terrible music that people can't somewhat vibe
Can't rock
to,
with it, man. You can't rock with it.
I think it lowers people's power levels.
Nah,
honestly.
for
Like,
sure.
I'm not too hot on Bailey's current music.
The package all has to fit.
Yeah.
You have to, if you are become a professional wrestler, you have to figure out who you are. Then you have to dress the package accordingly. If I am a dark, gothic demon of the underworld and I show up in red and white suspenders or red and green suspenders, that ain't gonna fit. There's gonna be something visually that don't match what I'm trying to portray.
Yeah.
Same thing if I'm a dark, gothic demon from the underworld and I come out to what I'm seeing don't match what I'm hearing. So it absolutely matters. It sets a mood. Your entrance sets a mood. The way you walk to the ring sets a mood. Your gear sets a mood. Everything sets a mood. So you would be swimming upstream if you didn't pick an entrance music that complemented who you wanted to portray in the ring.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. And then the other question was for Kenny. He said, did the Bachelorette recruit you personally, or did you apply to them?
So that's a good question, right? That's still a question that I don't know. Because I never called them. I got a phone call. So this is a funny story.
Whoa.
I got a phone call.
That's the answer right there.
I got a phone call one day, and it was a guy. And so, this is pro wrestling. So, like, somebody say something that sounds too good to be. Somebody's ribbing you.
Have you been ribbed before?
Well, yeah. Back in the day, that used to be the thing. Somebody go, "Hey, Kenny King, this is Vincent McMahon.
Wow.
Jeez.
I saw something that that used to be something that people would do.
Star
right?
6'9".
So, back with Nokia phones, you could get away with
The Nokia. The bricks.
So, but I got a phone call one day, and guy's like, "Hey, man, this is XYZ from ABC. Hey, man, have you ever thought about maybe being on The Bachelor or The Bachelorette?" So I'm thinking, so we pause. I was like, "So, I'm black, right?"
That was the first thing he said.
That was the first thing I said. I think I'm gonna pop one of the
Disclaimer,
boys, right?
hey.
And he
You know
just
I'm
kinda,
black.
everything goes silent for a minute. He says, "Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of you. That's kind of why I'm calling." I was like, "Oh shit, is this for real?" So I didn't. Somebody called me. I still don't kind of know how that happened, but shout out to whoever. referred me
Okay.
to
He
ACC
got hit
Studios.
up.
Hey, got hit up for the job. Like, hey, listen, are you available?
Yeah.
Were you like submitting headshots and stuff?
Well,
or?
once I got the phone call and it was legit, then they're like, you have to now. Oh, for like submitting headshots and that came
In
around.
general,
No,
like-
I have a buddy who he'll never admit it, and I don't, and it's possible or not, but he's a TV producer and he's a wrestling fan.
Nice.
And that's the only way that I could probably link those two together because I
Nice,
wasn't
okay.
really auditioning for anything at the time, and I mean and I was never really ever thinking about going to The Bachelorette. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's kind of how that happened. I got a phone call. And then you gotta
Wow.
send in pictures and
Yeah.
fill out all this stuff and get psyche vows and all kind of stuff.
Yeah. Okay. I did
And
not
then,
know that.
Power to the building. You may know who that is. You already answered a question. He already asked it, which was, tell the story of the match that got you your first contract. He asked it, and then before I had a chance, he already answered it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, Foul commented in the question, best and worst advice given to you in the business, if you can.
Best advice, just off the top of my head right now. I've had some I've just been fortunate and blessed to sit next to some really, really, really generous and knowledgeable people, and just sit there and listen. And that's what you're supposed to do. But off rip, because I like this one, D'Lo Brown, and this was a long time ago. This is before D'Lo and I became cool. This is he was on just an ROH show, and I can't remember the specifics involved, but for all intents and purposes, let's just say that I was wrestling down to my opponent, right? I was kind of handicapping myself to kind of let him catch up or whatever it was. It just wasn't what I was supposed to be doing. So D'Lo pulls me over and he said, "Don't ever let another motherfucker drag you down." He said, you wrestle above everybody. It doesn't matter if you think that you're in the ring with Bryan Danielson. You wrestle above his level. You go above that person's level. Don't ever slow down so that somebody can catch up. If they can't catch up, they don't belong in the ring. Show you right, D-Lo. Show you right.
Nice.
Yeah, D-Lo.
Worst advice.
This is a good one. I want to hear this.
Man, I had some terrible ass advice about I should change my name because Kenny King wasn't black enough. I
What?
can't remember some dumbass promoter.
Probably wasn't. Was he black?
You know he was not black.
Ah, of course he wasn't black. Of course.
Kenny King wasn't black enough.
Of course.
Of a name.
He won Kenny
For
Witherspoon.
my personality.
Kenny Witherspoon.
Kenny
You know,
Jackson.
You need to be Kenmetrius Johnson or some shit. Like
Camarcus.
Whoa, Kemetrius?
Kenmetrius Johnson or whatever.
Kemetrius.
Yeah, Kenny King wasn't black enough.
Kemetrius.
That's pretty stupid.
Wow.
Yeah, no more questions, but honest.
Ah,
Shout out KING
Kemetrius.
King, and that's about it.
Nice.
Kemetrius.
Wow.
Promoters, man. They some funny people, man. For
Folks, thanks for tuning in to Faction Live.
sure. Kenny, you can have the rest of this, dog. Yeah, that's for you.
Y'all
Thank you for
can
stopping by.
find
You
us
know.
on all the socials.
Baby, I wasn't supposed to have this baby. You're right.
Yeah, no, you ain't see nothing, You ain't see nothing.
Valentine's Day, man.
Yeah.
You can find me on Instagram and X at Ice Williams.
You can find me on Twitter at Fresco-Matic with 2 T's and Instagram with 1 T. Ha. Yeah.
I'm on the gram and I'm on Twitter because I ain't on X because
It's X. It's called X.
Dollar Store.
Are you not? Look, are you not respecting what it's supposed to be called? Are you not respecting what is?
Oh, don't
it's
do this.
being-
Don't
Are
do
you
this
not
to
respecting
Kenny.
what it's
Don't do this
supposed
to
to be
Kenny.
called?
I know that Dollar Store Lex Luthor has messed it up, so I'm gonna keep calling.
I know.
I'ma keep
Are you not
calling
respecting
it.
what it's called? Are you not respecting its
I'm
new?
gonna call it Twitter. It's
name?
Mama call it Twitter. Name it
it's-
Twitter.
You see this,
I'ma call
Brax?
it Twitter.
It's X.
Mama call it Twitter.
At
I'ma
what?
call it
At what?
Kenny King PB2. Kenny King PB2. That's Instagram and Twitter, and the official Kenny King on TikTok because I'm trying to get my little TikTok.
He hopping on TikTok
Oh, he be
now.
doing the dances and the challenges.
Yeah, I'm not gonna be doing none of this though, but my daughter to do our little dances and stuff. So
Well, Kenny, thank you for your time today. Thanks
Yeah,
for
man.
sharing your stories, and thanks for being part of Lights Camera Faction.
Appreciate
We're
you.
really excited to see what we can do. in the
We won't
future.
let you down. We on the 5.
five.
If I knew you was here, I would have gave you your Christmas gift.
yeah, gave me these dope ass Master Splinter socks, right?
I gave him the Master Splinter
Yeah.
socks.
which
Since
I,
we had the Turtles,
I love the most, right? That's it
it's up.
was dope.
Folks,
It was dope.
catch us here next week, same time, same place, 8 o'clock. We here at So Artem Studios. It's definitely going down.
Yeah, shout out
Faction
Shakur, shout out to
Live.
Moonchild. You know what I'm saying? We in here. That's a new nickname, the Moonchild.
Cut!
Cut!